Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, we're talking some boxing again. I'm what you need. You can subscribe to my channel if you like this video, share, comment, and always donate via Western Union Money Grant. Let's go into what I'm going to talk about, which is, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about what Showbizz the adult was saying concerning Canelo and Canelo weights. I'm joking. Canelo rehydration clause. Now he was talking about the inconsistencies of people critiquing Canelo, but then giving Errol Spence a pass and so on. For fans, their favorite fighter, they're not critiquing heavily, but the other fighter, they're coming down harder. So he's just talking about the inconsistencies in boxing fans. But one of the points he made inside of there concerning the rehydration clause that he was talking about with Canelo was when, now we know that Canelo had a rehydration clause for Rocky Fielding, for Danny Jacobs, and for Sergey Kovalev. Two things he said. First one, he's saying that the rehydration clause, that weight control does not affect the performance, say, of Sergey Kovalev. I have been saying that it does affect the performance of the fighter because now they're not coming in with the optimal, as optimal as possible, that is, a capacity. They may come in with injuries and stuff, but at least when it comes to how much energy they have and so on, it's really something that kind of caps on their performance. We've seen it many, many times, whether it's catch weights or rehydration clauses, where a weight drained fighter, in the later rounds especially, you can get the desired result. So I talked about that at length in another video. But there was something else that Showbiz the adult said, and I'm trying to recall it now because I just forgot it. But there's another thing he said which I thought I would put clarity on, which is, if I go through it, some of the things he said was that, you have to be consistent in how you judge things. So if Mikey Garcia jumped up 2 weight classes, faced Errol Spence Jr., and people were calling for a rehydration clause because Errol Spence was too big, then you can't be turning around at Canelo and saying that the rehydration clause, now he shouldn't put the rehydration. Now, but my point was, this is it. My point was, it wasn't that I was against the rehydration clause or I was angry that it had a rehydration clause. The thing is, they did not announce this thing ahead. They didn't let everybody know from the get-go that there was a rehydration clause. And I thought that was dishonest of them. And I think that's the whole point. The rehydration clause, in and of itself, that's kind of convenient. Because think about it. Canelo is coming up 15 pounds, right? He's coming up from the 160-pound division, 15 pounds up to 175. So it's okay. If you want to have a rehydration clause, put it in there. Let everybody know in advance. Kovalev knows. His trainer knows. Everybody knows. I felt that people had to be guessing about this rehydration clause. And, even trainers had suggested, John David Jackson said, put a rehydration clause in there, right? So it's not something that people would have knocked Canelo for. I wouldn't have knocked it if he had put the rehydration. It's a reasonable rehydration clause. It's 185, 10 pounds above the light heavyweight limit. I'm not knocking him for that. My problem is that they should have been honest and forthright and upfront with this thing, okay? Obviously, the rehydration clause affected Kovalev's performance to some degree, and Boxing Wade was saying, you really want to have fights where they're just completely uneven in playing field, but you do understand if somebody has a rehydration clause in there, because if somebody's coming up 15 pounds, somebody's coming up 15 pounds, the other guy doesn't have to do anything. Maybe there should be a clause for the guy not to be too big. I get it, especially if the guy's debuting into the weight class. He's not getting a chance to acclimatize. So I get the rehydration clause. My problem was, it does affect Kovalev's performance. A lot of people are saying, if Kovalev was fully hydrated, it wouldn't affect his performance. I think it would have affected his performance some. The outcome and the result, probably not so much. But I do believe that it affected his performance, and it always does. Now, for 68 Scrapbook, I just wanted him to know, once again, that with the Devin Haney issue, and again, my point is this. They were talking about how Nair Inu has been exposed. I don't really talk and say fighters are exposed, but I do understand where they're coming from. He got caught with overhand rights all night long and left hooks. And like I said before, these guys, they need to learn how to change levels, dip, and get below punches. You can't just only try to, you're throwing your punch and you're not protected. You're throwing in the defensive maneuvers to roll under or dip under, like Floyd Mayweather would do, like Canelo would do, to get out of the way of the punch. or you're punching off at an angle so that you don't get countered, like Lomachenko would do, like Canelo would do, like Floyd would do. So you have to understand what you're doing, and how you're trap setting. All right. Having said all of that, um, I thought that Devin Haney got caught a little too much with the right hands. Yes, the guy became very defensive after a certain point in time when his offense was not effective against Devin Haney, and he was shelling up because he didn't want to get knocked out. But I still thought Devin Haney should have had the experience and skill to be able to. And I was listening to Devin Haney after his fight. I was speaking on the fact that he got the win and so on, and he needs to understand he still has adjustments to make, and his father needs to work on those things with him and with the trainers there, because he's got all the skill in the world, but he better work on his game. And I'm highly critical of it, because what I looked at, I was not pleased. I was not impressed with what he did, especially after he got the knockdown. Before the knockdown, he was boxing pretty good, and then when he figured out the guy, it was beautiful to watch. That was the exceptional. That's where he transcended. He looked like Floyd and stuff like that in there, and all the past greats. But then he just lost his composure, threw everything out the window, and was just going for the KO. And I thought that was sad, because all that work he put in, now he had to throw away all that work, start all over again in the fight. So I was not pleased with that at all. And like I said in another past video, he should work on those things, because he's not gonna beat Lomachenko fighting that kind of fight that he did after he got the knockdown. So that's what I got to say about Devin Haney. But Showbizz the Adult said a particular thing, and I wanted to get it. I agree with everything that Showbizz the Adult was saying concerning the inconsistencies of fight fans and how they go down on a fighter because they don't like them. But I think that there was something else I was supposed to say and I forgot. So maybe I'll go find the video, and then I'll make this video on it, which is a waste of time. But I'm going to also give you guys a breakdown on Billy Joe Saunders versus whoever he faced. I can't remember the guy's name. I'll also give you the breakdown on Jamal Herring versus Lamont Roach. So we'll get those fights out there. Jamal Herring, of course, getting the win. All my predictions mostly came out, except that I said KSI would knock out Logan Paul, and that Devin Haney would knock out this guy. So it didn't happen. It is what it is. I'm going to stop my video right now, and I'm going to go be able to go watch those fights, and then I'll come back and I'll talk with you guys about them. But by and large, I got 100% right with all my weekend fights, except for the manner in which these guys would be stopped. And I got some polls for you guys afterwards for you guys to check out on my channel. Don't forget you can donate to my channel by Western Union or MoneyGram. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace. I'm out.